Kaduna floods submerged more than 200 houses, displaced thousands as victims appeal for support. Police paraded 94 IRN members in connection with the Abuja clash. Hardest farmers' conflict claims 5 lives in Niger State. On the foreign scene, World Food Programme launches probe into its Sudan operations as famine spreads. Welcome to Trust News Hour. For tonight, I am Muhammad Kudu Abubakar. Victims of Chikaji in Kaduna State are still appealing for government assistance after a flood ravaged the community on Monday afternoon. The flood, which submerged hundreds of houses at the community located in Sabangari local government area of Kaduna State, rendered many homeless, with many now taking shelter with family and friends at different locations. Trust TV's Bello Musa, who visited the community, now reports.
The flood destroyed a house belonging to this family. This area was submerged by flood, trapping children, women, and the aged in their houses. We were trapped by the floor in our rooms. Our bedroom wall collapsed with us inside. Then our parlor collapsed as well. And I was under the collapse with my children in my arms. I had to struggle my way out of the room with them. My neighbor, who was also trapped in his house, came to our help and saved my children and my wife through the fence. My wife and one of my children sustained injuries, though blocks collapsed on my back, but I did not sustain injury. They helplessly watched their properties being taken away by the flood.
Our clothes, house utensils, and the animals were taken away by the flood. I have lived in this community for 8 years.
As you can see, these are the only I am left with. In fact, I was lucky to find my documents intact. I watched my television, refrigerators, and other items swept away by the water. While other victims are taking shelter at neighboring communities, others have no option than to remain at their houses despite the possibility of recurrence of the flood. The devastating effect of the flood in the community necessitated calls from leaders to the people to avoid putting structures on waterways. We are calling on our people to take care of their environment as well as build drainages in front of their house. Authorities concerned should ensure they give building approval at the appropriate location. According to the Kaduna State Emergency Management Agency, the recent flood affected hundreds of houses in flood-prone areas in Zaria.
We have over 200 houses being destroyed yesterday for no reason. For no reason. After all the sensitization, after all the government commitment, after all the investment directly and indirectly, there are the areas that is identified to be too prone to flood. But this time around, particularly the incident that happened in Sabongari and Zaria, it is something new. Like the places are unidentified, and we believe is because the government have done diligence by making sure all the predicted front areas have been desilted.
The flood also affected the cemetery at the community where the flood washed away and exposed bones and white clothes of the dead. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Still more floods as flood waters continue to wreak havoc across towns and villages of Jigawa State. Farmers are working hard to salvage what remains of their harvest on their farmlands. Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibran visited Awuyo local government area of the state and now reports.
Adamusani in Ganwar Kuka village of Auyoloku government is like many other farmers whose farmlands were washed away by the flood. He and his children are now working hard to salvage this millet from the water, hoping to get at least 30% of what he harvested this year.
Sakamakon ambaliyar ruwa da ta same mu a guraren da muke noman gero dawa.
Planted a millet here, and the water has destroyed everything. So what we are doing here is to see what we can get out of the water. And if I'm lucky to get at least 30% out of 100, I think it will be fine for me. In addition to millet, these farmers say they have planted beans, sesame, rice, among others, but have all been destroyed by the heavy downpour that led to the severe flood. We have planted so many things like beans, rice, and many other crop, but they have all been destroyed. The only one we are managing to salvage is this millet. Many farming communities in Jigawa are now living in constant fear of food shortage. The situation authorities say is expected to worsen given the magnitude of the flood.
Actually, there is going to be a shortage of food. If not, with the volume of water, there may be famine. Usually famine comes when the water is not there. But this one now, the water is there. What they have planted is gone. Yes, flood has already taken that land and what have you. You cannot do anything.
Farmers are calling on government to provide permanent measures that will address the persistent flood disaster annually. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Jigawa.
The Director General of Bosso State Emergency Management Agency, Masood Aliyu, has advised residents living in flood-prone areas to vacate their homes due to heightened flood threats. Aliyu, who gave the advice on Wednesday, said 4 persons have been confirmed dead due to the recent floods that affected communities in Shira, Giade, and Katagum local government areas of Bosso State. According to Aliyu, Giade, Katagum, and Shira local government areas have been the most severely impacted by the floods. He explained that these 3 local government areas' extensive farmlands have been submerged by flood waters. Aliyu noted that the fatalities were due to building collapses and the flood waters submerging the deceased. The Federal Minister of Works has directed the contractor handling the rehabilitation of the Potiskum-Gashua Federal Road in Yobe State to immediately provide temporary measures on the damaged portion of the road that was cut off following heavy flooding. The acting controller of works in the state, Abdurrahman Bukar, who visited the scene, said Potiskum-Gashua is one of the economic roads in the state. Bukar said the decision was also to help cushion the hardship faced by motorists along the road that was cut off recently, adding that rehabilitation of the road will immediately provide temporary measures that will allow movement of individuals and their goods. He called on motorists to exercise patience as the government is doing everything possible to ensure that the damaged portion of the road is repaired while the complete rehabilitation will commence soon. The Abuja-Kaduna Expressway continues to be a spot for frequent gridlocks and auto crashes as major portions of the Abuja-Kaduna section of the road remains in bad shape despite other sections such as the Kaduna-Zaria and Zaria-Kano sections of the road nearing completion. In this report, Trust TV's Sagir Ibrahim traversed the route from Zuba in the Federal Capital Territory to Jangwam, outskirts of Kaduna State, to get a first-hand opinion of the travels of drivers and commuters who continue to lament the deteriorating state of the road. His report.
It's a physical, emotional, and also a stressful journey for drivers and commuters who usually ply this route. This is the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway, and currently, we're currently at Bishimi Junction. This junction has sort of become a zigzaggy terrain for drivers who would usually drive in zigzag motions in order to be able to dodge either it's a damaged trailer that's on the side of the road that's preventing or at least causing some sort of interference with traffic, or probably is the state of the road as you can see. This is one portion of the road that's just riddled with a bit of clay, silt, and a few potholes that you would say. But it gets worse in some areas, of course, where you would see craters where trailers, vehicles and other small buses find it quite difficult to ply this route. The road has the presence of quite a number of security personnel. During my interaction with some of them, they had explained that although the road is in critical or bad shape as it may seem, the drivers also have some fault because some of them are impatient and drive on heavy speed even though the road is in bad shape. Some would say the recipe for accidents is usually poor road networks, reckless driving, and also drivers who do not listen. Well, this is the situation. On our way observing the state of the Abuja-Kaduna road, we've now found ourselves in the scene of an accident. Thankfully, no lives were lost, but unfortunately, one of the passengers of this vehicle, which collided with each other head-on, sustained minor injuries.
Well, we're inside the vehicle when we are coming from Delta State Warri. So the fault of this, the genesis of this accident is the fault of the driver that is inside the vehicle. Because I am inside I'm the victim of the passenger of the bike where they get the accident. I talked to the driver, I talked to him, and I advised him, I warned him because of the speeding. The driver, he's not even listening to me. He was even trying to insult me. Due because some of them, they are already ignorant, they are blind, they don't want to be listening. Whatever comes to their mind, they will be doing it.
The issue with this road is that these young men refuse to take caution of the road. I don't know whether it is ignorance, I don't know whether it's just deaf-earedness of drivers in this road. This road is a one-lane road. We're not following the other side. And you are sharing the same one-lane road with the people coming in front of you and behind. And most of this road, we have breakdown vehicles. Before we get here, there's a container that dropped down in the middle of the road. The car is not there. The container of the container is not there. The container is in the middle of the road. You definitely will be slowing down.
While the passengers and drivers of the vehicles trade blames, the bigger question remains, would the accident have happened if the dual carriageway was in excellent shape?
There's a diversion here that connects the lane going towards Abuja with the lane, of course, going towards Kaduna. If you would notice, cars are diverting from this axis into this lane of the road because this is the lane that's meant to carry travelers to Abuja, of course, and this lane to Kaduna. This is Jangwam, or Olam as some people will call it. It is this point where the other tranche from Kaduna to Zaria of the Abuja Expressway rehabilitation starts. Now at this point, this is the point where drivers and travelers would feel, if they are coming from Abuja, that the journey might be a little bit smooth. And if you're coming from Kaduna and you get to this point, to this diversion here up until this way, of course, to Abuja, it means the travails of the terrible nature of the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway is just starting for you.
We travelled through Zuba, Diko, Sabon-Wuse, Tafa, Jere, Azara, Bishimi, Katari up till Jangwam community across the length of the road. While a few portions of the road has been reconstructed with both carriages of the road completed, drivers would often divert to a single lane upon getting to the end of the rehabilitated part of the road. It is at this point that trouble starts. From craters to deep potholes to diversions that are inaccessible to some drivers, Traveling this part of the expressway, which spans a majority of the highway, requires patience, skill, strength, and even prayers, because as some of the travelers explained, anything can happen. Reporting from the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway, Sagir Ibrahim for Trust TV News.
As part of efforts to keep the nation's capital safe from crime and criminality, the FCT Police Command has paraded an armed robbery and culpable homicide suspect. Also paraded are 94 members of the proscribed Islamic Movement of Nigeria, IMN, linked to the Wuse Market attack that led to the death of 2 police officers, as well as others for various offenses. Neil Sampson was there for Trust TV and now reports.
Among the suspects paraded is Abdulrashid Mohammed, a Nigerian Navy officer who was involved in armed robbery and culpable homicide, and a set of twins, Obike Uchenna and Obike Onye, who are specialized in attacking unsuspecting members of the public at ATM machines.
About 2 weeks ago, Aminu Ibrahim, the son of Vice Admiral I. Ibrahim, a former chief of naval staff, was robbed and killed in Maitama area of Abuja, and his Prado SUV removed. So today, I want to inform you that Abdulrashid Mohammed, look at him here, Abdulrashid Mohammed, who is, you can interview him, he said he's a naval officer, is him that killed the boy. This group, stand up. These two young men are twins. They live in Lube. They are you can interview them. They live in Lube. What they do is they will go to ATM gallery. If we show you the video of what they do, they will go to ATM gallery and pretend that they come to withdraw money. They have different ATMs with them. Every bank ATM they have.
The FCT Commissioner of Police also showcased exhibits recovered from the 94 arrested members of the proscribed Islamic Movement of Nigeria.
If you check here, you can see what we recovered from them. Some of the cutlasses you see here are blood-stained, which they use in killing the policemen. They shotgun at the policemen, they use petrol bomb, they use cutlasses. If you see their dead body and how they were massacred, you will be shocked. But most importantly is this one. This one is what they will do, and you can see blood stained. They will cover it and send it to their sponsors overseas and tell them that Nigeria police government have killed one of them. They will dress it, this is the head. They will dress it up and it will look like a human being so that they will send them money.
Some of the suspects confessed to the crimes they were arrested for.
I'm a prosecutor of killing the son of Vice Admiral.
How did you commit this act?
Yes, he wanted to go outside and he said I should follow him for security reasons. 11:30, so when I follow him, he stops trying to check something like ATM in his car, and I come out to the other door, I shoot him.
How did the police get to know that you are the one that...
They arrested me with the car. Yes, sir.
So why did you kill the person?
I killed him because to carry the car and sell.
Was it bad to you, or was it a good boss to you or a bad person to you?
No, sir. Me and him will never come across of anything. This is the first time. We are always just greeting each other, hi.
When we go to the gallery, if we should meet anybody there that does not know how to operate the machine, we'll put it on cardless and ask the person to slot his or her ATM there. Then when the person put the pin, it will appear on the screen. And when it appears on the screen, we'll press proceed for him. It will look as if maybe it's not coming out. We'll tell the person to try to make withdrawal. If we tell the person unable to complete, tell the person to try to eject the card. The person might not be able to eject the card. Then we'll ask him or her to go and meet the security. Process of going to meet the security, we'll eject the card and go with it.
The commissioner used the opportunity to reassure members of the public of the command's commitment to defeat crimes in all its forms in the FCT. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
At least 5 persons have reportedly lost their lives following a clash between farmers and herders in Beji area of Bosso local government area of Niger State. 3 of the victims are reportedly siblings. Residents said violent confrontation started on Monday after a farmer was found dead in his farm, a day after he complained that some herders had grazed their cattle on his farm. One of the residents, Ali Mohammed, said the crisis had caused tension in Beji town and environs, especially because Beji weekly market is on Wednesday. The Niger State Police Command is yet to issue a statement or make on the attack. In its effort to battle terrorism, the Katsina state government has launched a 30-day sustained joint security operation in 19 frontline local government areas of the state. The Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Nasiru Muazu, announced this to newsmen on Tuesday after an expanded State Security Council meeting at the Government House, Katsina. The meeting was convened by Governor Dikko Radda in a bid to address the recent surge in banditry activities and attacks. The gathering brought together key stakeholders, including members of the State Security Council, local government chairmen, district heads, divisional police officers, Department of State Services representatives, heads of vigilante groups, Katsina Community Watch Corps commanders, and civil defense officials from the 19 local government areas. According to Muazu, the meeting resolved to implement a community-based approach to security, leveraging local intelligence and participation. The Commissioner further explained that the measures represent a comprehensive and collaborative approach to tackling communities' security challenges. This is News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, cultural identity on full display in Lagos as Northern community celebrates Hausa Day. More news when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories again. Kaduna floods submerged more than 200 houses, displaced thousands as victims appeal for support. We also told you that police parade 94 members of the proscribed Islamic movement of Nigeria in connection with the Abuja clash. Over 31.8 million Nigerians are suffering from acute food insecurity, compounded by malnutrition among women and children in the country. According to statistics provided by the 2024 CADA Harmonized Report, the surge in food commodity prices is due to the removal of fuel subsidy, in addition to security challenges that have placed millions of Nigerians in a precarious situation. In a statement, the Director, Press, Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, Julie Osagi Jacobs, stated that development partners, including the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, GAIN, GIZ, and AGSYS, made the disclosure at a joint report or review meeting on implementation of the food systems in Nigeria. Julie Osagi Jacobs said that the stakeholders advocated a multi-sectoral approach of collaboration in tackling food security, noting that it was a must in addressing all the challenges simultaneously. They noted that the civil society organizations, including the private sector, must be involved to extend the reach of nutrition efforts. The partners, however, pledged their unalloyed support to transform the food system in Nigeria. As part of efforts to encourage and support breastfeeding mothers to exclusively breastfeed for the first 6 months, a Bauchi-based peasant farmer, Malam Ibrahim, says he is taking a break from farming to support his wife, to succeed in her exclusive breastfeeding months. Ibrahim disclosed this during an interview with Trust TV in Bauchi on the need to encourage spouses to feed their children with breast milk. Trust TV's Adamu Imam completes the report.
As a subsistence farmer whose goal is to grow crops on small-scale level to meet the basic needs of his family, it may sound unwise to abandon farming at a time of food scarcity and soaring prices of goods and services. However, Malam Ibrahim has taken the decision just to support his wife in the first 6 months after birth to enable her carry out exclusive breastfeeding successfully. Through my farm work, I feed my family and also encourage my wife to exclusively breastfeeding our baby for the first 6 months. More so, what I cultivate from farm is for feeding the family. So, despite the economic hardship, I am not selling the crops I harvest. That is how I, my wife, and our 5 children are surviving. Ibrahim added that he usually cultivates a variety of crops to cushion the effect of food crisis. By the grace of God, my wife also contributes to the family through rearing of animals and laundry services. Now she is not going out in search of work as a housemaid or cleaner. Instead, earns up to 10,000 naira per month from rearing animals and laundry services to support her exclusive breastfeeding exercise, supporting Ibrahim's effort in getting things done to save their children's health through exclusive breastfeeding. His wife Halima, a nursing mother, says she also engaged in activities that are income generating to support the family. My little baby approaching 6 months, and all this while, we have been on exclusive breastfeeding. At the expiration of 6 months, we will start complementary feeding using local grains such as soya beans, groundnut, and sorghum. I always breastfeed exclusively without water, and that keeps them looking good and healthier. My baby is just 3 months now. Recently, during a media engagement, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, lamented that a survey on breastfeeding in 5 states in the north, including Bauchi State, was very poor. Hence the need to enlist the support of husbands to achieve desired breastfeeding goals. UNICEF also advised grandparents and other family members to always support women in their quest to observe 6 months exclusive breastfeeding for a healthy society and achieving universal health coverage by the year 2030. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf has directed the Accountant General of the state to close all accounts belonging to all ministries, departments, and agencies in the state within 1 week. The governor gave the directives at a meeting with the chairman of the Kano State Internal Revenue Service, KIRS, and heads of various MDAs at the Government House, Kano. He noted that the decision to adopt and implement a central account is to ensure proper account and utilization of the state finances for effective governance. He directed all MDAs to comply with all the provisions of the Kano State MDA Revenue Harmonization Law. He assured citizens of the state, particularly taxpayers, of effective use of the funds to impact their lives and the state's economy. Such impact, he stated, will include in areas of water, health, sanitation, agricultural development, as well as human capital development, among several other sectors. The Adamawa State Executive Council has approved the reconstruction of Jimeta Shopping Complex at a cost of 19.7 billion naira. The decision follows the recent demolition of the complex to pave way for its remodeling. The State's Commissioner for Information and Strategy briefed journalists on the Council's meeting. He stated that the project will be carried out by 3 different companies with a completion time frame set at 20 months. Addressing environmental concerns, particularly regarding flooding, the government advised residents of the riverine communities to take precautionary measures and relocate to higher grounds. The administration also stressed the importance of maintaining health and safety standards during the period.
In order to match with the urban renewal program of the Fresh Air government, to boost micro and small businesses in the state, to stimulate economic growth, induce investors in the state, for visual appeal to the city of Adamawa State, the State Executive Council approved the award of the contract for the construction of Jimeta Modern Shopping Complex.
The federal government has identified climate change as a major obstacle to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, and a significant threat to global efforts to reduce extreme poverty. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, stated this at a program addressing the impact of climate change on farmer-herder clashes in Nigeria, organized by the Office of the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Environment. The report.
Represented by the technical advisor to the SGF, Bolaji Babatunde, Akume emphasized that President Bola Tinubu recognizes climate change as a significant hurdle to his efforts to lift many out of extreme poverty, adding that the president's participation in COP28 in Dubai shortly after assuming office demonstrates his commitment to addressing the issue. He noted that the world is at a critical juncture due to the failure of global leaders to trust scientific judgment on the impact of human activities on global warming, emphasizing that collective action is necessary to find a permanent solution to the farmer-herder conflict and also mitigate the effects of climate change.
Great efforts have been made by his administration towards this mandate since he took over power barely 17 months ago. The president has himself recognized that climate change is a hurdle obstructing his efforts to lift many out of extreme poverty, and has demonstrated this by participating in the COP28 in Dubai almost immediately after he resumed work last year.
The Minister of State for Environment, Isiaq Salako, emphasized that individuals have a crucial role to play in the fight against climate change, adding that by working together, the country can mitigate the impacts of climate change and create a more sustainable future.
We have responsibilities to reduce our carbon footprints. We have responsibilities to ensure that we save energy. We have responsibility to ensure that we save our natural resources. We do not waste resources, because all these, one way or the other, contribute to the climate change that we are witnessing and the driving of the farmer-herders clash that we are addressing today.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, represented by the federal lawmaker for Benue State, Dixon, highlighted the exacerbating impact of climate change on farmer-herder conflicts, noting that climate change has worsened the competition for resources between farmers and herders, leading to clashes.
Climate change has worsened the farmer-herder challenges. Farmers and herders alike now compete for less resources from which they draw crops and fodder. Distortions in rainfall patterns being the result of climate change have led to desertification. In search of greener pastures, herders have continued to migrate to farming communities. Given the trend, without regulation, there is bound to be clashes and crises indeed. We are already there.
Deputy Chairman of the House Committee on Environment, Tessia Ubo, noted that climate change is a significant driver of farmer-herder conflicts in Nigeria, stressed that addressing this challenge requires a multifaceted approach.
Now, in proffering solutions to the climate crisis, we have designed this initiative to address the problem of affordable green housing for displaced persons, restoration of degraded farm and grazing lands, training and capacity building, resource and water management, renewable energy integration, and peace building through dialogue and mediation.
Stakeholders agreed that the multifaceted approach to addressing issues of climate change and farmer-herders clashes is one that combines sustainable development, conflict resolution, and humanitarian assistance.
Residents of Orobiri community in Ikeremo local government area of Bayelsa State are calling on governments at all levels to assist them in addressing the devastating effect of ocean surge which hit the community recently. Trust TV correspondent Friday Ibimobowe Peter, who visited the coastal community, reports that the surge has resulted in the loss of over 1,000 kilometers of land and valuable properties. The report.
A robbery community located in a Ikeremo local government area of Bayelsa State is host to EA Oil Drilling Company. The people, however, live in palpable fear following the non-stop ocean surge ravaging the area. Eric Tonye, a chief who has already lost his building to the disaster threatening the community, attributes it to the rise in sea level, leaving monumental destruction in its trails.
The community has been crying for these past 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You can see with your coverage, with your video coverage, that 75% of the community landmass has been totally washed off. With the experience with your coverage, nobody can tell the truth but your coverage. So, at this moment, we don't have any option to cry more. We are still crying to the local and state government.
This predominantly fishing settlement has lost several properties, including huge landmass, churches, schools, and residential buildings to the coastal monarch.
We are like a total stranger. We are new to this water stuff, like entering into the community. And I would like to say that the government should please come together, because now for governments to come from outside to say they are landing in this type of community, to like say they want to stay here and serve the community and to help the community at large. Even they willingly want to stay because of this water issue. They might like reject the offer of even staying here.
What we are facing today is a twin problem. When I say twin problem, the issue of coastal flooding and that of erosion over the years. And what we are seeing today is in fact very devastating, because over the years there has been this issue of flooding and coupled with that of erosion. So what we are facing today is, the thing is beyond us. It's something we cannot cope on our own. And that's the reason why we are now calling on the state government to please come to our help.
What is happening in our community is very, very pathetic. I don't know why the state government could not even listen to us. I think our votes are counting. We are in Nigeria. Why can't the government look into this situation if we are humans? I don't know, I don't understand. We are using this medium to call on the Bayelsa state government, the miracle governor. Please give us a listening ear.
The people of Orobiri community are worried that if urgent steps are not taken to address the disaster, the existence of the community may become history. From Orobiri community, Friday Ibimobowe Peter, Trust TV News.
The Arayo community in Lagos says the Hausa Day celebration is to, among other things, impact cultural values on the younger generation in the state. These organizers say it's critical to their cultural identity, which stands them out amongst others. Trust TV's Abbas Dalibi reports.
Hausa Day, since 2015, been celebrated annually on the 26th August. The Arewa community in Lagos was not left behind in the 2024 edition, as they also celebrate the Hausa Day in a colorful fashion. Musa Yahaya Nice is a youth leader and part of the organizing committee of the Hausa Day in Lagos. He disclosed that the Hausa Day celebration in Lagos is to impact cultural values on the younger generation.
We have a children that's born and coming up here in southern Nigeria, but we don't want them to forget where they came from. That reason why we come up with this kind of program for the children to understand they are from somewhere. Here is same Nigeria where we are, but they should remember we have a culture where we come from. That's the reason why we come and display a lot of our culture here in southern Nigeria, for them to understand, yes, we come from somewhere, we cannot forget home. And a lot of children that we choose for them to participate on this program are happy. They're happy. They're supposed to be part of in terms of this kind of culture display, you understand. So that shows that yes, the message we sent last year go well. The children in the community understand that yes, they're supposed to be part of those kind of culture display.
Jafar Yusuf from the group of Arewa comedians in Lagos State is part of the entertainers who performed during the celebrations. He disclosed that the Hausa Day celebration in Lagos is a memorable one.
I'm very
happy to be part of the Hausa Day celebration in Lagos. I perform to impact knowledge and traditional values on our younger generations, especially those who were born in Lagos and have never traveled to the north. This is part of what we let them know their origin, as well as value their cultural heritage. The Hausa Day celebration at the Hausa Line in Ajegule area of Lagos was a colorful one, as traditional singers, dancers, and artists entertained attendees. Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV, Lagos.
Yusuf Akogu for Business News.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akogu. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has authorized 6 additional states to regulate their electricity market. A statement by the regulator on Wednesday said the states have set up electricity regulatory agency and will be regulating the electricity market in their respective states. NEC said the move complied with the amended Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Electricity Act 2023. The EA also mandates any state that intend to establish and regulate interstate electricity market to deliver a formal notification of its processes and request NEC to transfer regulatory authority over electricity operation in the state to the state regulator. The states are Enugu, Ekiti, Ondo, and Oyo. South African Johannes Rupert has displaced the president of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, to become the richest man in Africa. Dangote, who had maintained the top position for several years, saw his wealth drop by $1.7 billion year to date in the latest Bloomberg Billionaire Index published on Wednesday, as Rupert's wealth increased by $1.87 billion year to date. The 74-year-old South African controls the world's largest luxury watchmaker through a family trust. His other holdings include Remgro, a Stellenbosch, South African-based investment vehicle with stake in more than 30 companies. However, for Dangote, the majority of his fortune is derived from his 86% stake in publicly traded Dangote Cement. The Bloomberg Billionaires Index is a daily ranking of the world's richest people. Equities market closed negative on Wednesday as it failed to extend the gains recorded from the previous trading sessions. Let's see how it went down today. The losing equities there, NIMET leading that table there, 9.09%. It lost to close at 2 naira per share on the day. Tantalizer PLC also down 7.41% to close at 75 kobo per share. Of course, Thomas Watt also down as well, 7.06% to close at 1 naira and 58 kobo per share. Of course, this has pushed down the market downward there, 0.36%. Volume of trade 446.61 million shares, valued at 4.53 billion naira in the days of 10,148. did exchange hands among investors this Wednesday. Of course, looking at the top trading equities in terms of volume, leading that table, Universal Insurance there doing 52.60 million shares, Japan Gold 51.75 million shares, of course, Prestige and Insurance Company 35.82 million shares it traded for the day. Of course, some equities also recorded gains at the close of business today, leading the gaining equities. Champ PLC gained 9.95% to close at 2 naira and 32 kobo per share. Oando PLC 9.94% to close at 63 naira and 60 kobo per share. Of course, livestock fees also there 9.91% to close at 2 naira and 44 kobo per share day. And that's the highlight of stock trading as it went down this Wednesday on the floor of NGS. Let's see the global stock market and exchange rate data for today. Oil price fell more than 1% on Wednesday on persistent concern over Chinese demand and elevated risk of a broader slowdown, though the decline was capped by potential supply losses from Middle East and Libya. At the London market, Brent crude sells for $78 per barrel. For the per basket, price moves up by over 2%. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogun.
On the foreign scene, the United Nations World Food Programme is investigating 2 of its top officials in Sudan over allegations including fraud and concealing information from donors about its ability to deliver food aid to civilians amid the nation's dire hunger crisis, according to 11 people with knowledge of the probe. The investigation of the WFP's Office of the Inspector General, OIG, comes as the UN's food aid arm is struggling to feed millions of people in war-torn Sudan, now suffering one of the world's most severe food shortages in years. As part of the probe, investigators are looking at whether WFP staff sought to hide the alleged role of Sudan's army in obstructing aid amid a brutal 16-month war with a rival paramilitary group who are fighting for the control of the country. One of those being examined in the inquiry is WFP's Deputy Country Director in Sudan, Khalid Osman, who has been given a temporary duty assignment, otherwise outside Sudan, a de facto suspension. According to sources, a second senior official, WFP Area Manager Mohammed Ali, is being investigated in connection with the alleged disappearance of more than 200,000 liters of the UN organization's fuel in the Sudanese city of Kosti. Osman and Ali declined to comment when contacted by Reuters, referring the news agency to WFP's media office. Drought-stricken Namibia plans to cull over 700 wild animals, including 83 elephants, and distribute the meat to people struggling to feed themselves. The Environment Ministry says the cull will take place in parks and communal areas where officials believe animal numbers exceed available grazing land and water supplies. In addition to elephants, animals to be killed include hippos, buffalo, impalas, blue wild beasts, zebras, and eland. The ministry says the drought has seen an increase in human-wildlife conflict, adding that the culling will take place in areas with high levels of friction, particularly with elephants. Southern Africa is facing its worst drought in decades, and the United Nations says Namibia last month had exhausted 84% of its food reserves. Nearly half of the population is expected to experience high levels of food insecurity in the months ahead. Animal rights activists have, however, raised concerns about the culling, which they say is being undertaken without an assessment of the economic or environment impact. They are suggesting that the cull in this election year may be politically motivated and have started a petition calling for it to be stopped. Time now to join Emmanuel Fashemi for the latest in sports.
Team Nigeria's head coach to the 2024 Paralympics Games, Nasiru Sule, has declared that the team is ready for the Games, which begin this Wednesday in Paris. The 35-member squad, comprising 23 athletes, 7 coaches and 5 medical personnel, arrived in Paris last week Thursday after completing a training camp in Germany. The Paralympic Committee of Nigeria, PCN, had also announced that Loretta Onye will serve as the flag bearer, while Folashade Olufemi Ayo has been named team captain. Nasiru Sule, who confirmed that the team is in high spirits, further said they are ready to compete. The team was camped in Germany for 2 weeks ahead of the Games. The atmosphere is calm and conducive, with all the athletes ready to explode and compete at the Games. Sule, a bronze medalist in table tennis from the Atlanta Paralympic Games, also expressed confidence in the athletes' preparation and motivation. Nigeria first participated in the Paralympic Games at the 1992 Summer Paralympics in Barcelona, Spain, winning 3 gold medals. Since then, Nigeria has consistently competed, amassing a total of 80 medals, including 40 gold, 19 silver, and 21 bronze, and currently ranks 37th globally. The nation achieved notable success in the 2000 Sydney Games with 7 gold, and in Rio 2016, where Nigeria secured its highest gold medal count with 8. At the Tokyo 2020 Paralympics, Nigeria continued its strong performance, earning 4 gold, 1 silver, and 5 bronze medals. Nigeria will be participating in athletics, badminton, powerlifting, and table tennis. The Paralympics will run from Wednesday 28 August to Sunday 8 September 2024. And that is sports. I am Emmanuel Fashimi.
Sports concludes this edition of News Hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I'm Muhammad Kuda Abubakar. Thank you for watching.